That is not my style. I mean, I won't turn it down, though. Oh, wait, does that make me a bad person?
You are an extremely bad person!
Star Trek Lower Decks is back with Season 2, and it premiered yesterday. The reason I'm reviewing it today, and not yesterday, is because I was at a Pride parade yesterday at World Pride in Copenhagen and Malmö. So, you know, that took priority. But here we are, first episode, Strange Energies is here, and it is delightful. As always, we'll start with some non-spoiler talk about the episode. It's a fun enough episode. It harkens back to a lot of like original series stuff. Definitely a lot of intentional Where No Man Has Gone Before vibes. In fact, there's even direct references to Gary Mitchell. So that's cool. And it's a fun enough episode that really highlights... It's the kind of episode that highlights things that Star Trek can do in an animated medium that it really can't do in live action. Like, if they tried to do the same things that they do in this episode in live action, the budget would go out, like, it would just not be worth it. Like, but because it's animated, they can do a lot of stuff, and I like that we're already seeing Lower Decks make more use of the animated medium, because their first season was kind of restrained in that regard. It mostly focused on recreating the feeling of the TNG era Star Trek shows. Now there's some exceptions to that, like, you know, we have some aliens that we haven't seen in live action, like the cat people and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a fun enough episode. It's a fun enough start to the season. I was a little bit disappointed that it's another episode where Rutherford and Tendi are paired off again, and Mariner is, well, she's on her own because, of course, Boimler is now on another ship. But I was really hoping that... I do hope Season 2 doesn't get into the habit of always pairing up the same characters. I want to see some, you know, interwoven pairs in that regard, because I just think that getting too comfortable in the, like, 2 and 2 pairs is something that held back Season 1 a little bit. But yeah, it's a fun episode. I liked it a lot, and I don't really think I have much more to say about it than the non-spoiler part, so let's dive right into spoilers and do an episode summary. So, the episode starts with a Cardassian prison break that Mariner is part of, which is actually a holodeck simulation, is how she, like, works out. We get a cameo from Boimler with a nice little chain of command reference.
Oh my god, Mariner, you gotta get me out of here. They keep showing me lights.
No, I'm still mad at you.
And then Jen, or Jennifer as her full name is, from Season 1, who we only heard the voice of, shows up, actually. She's an Andorian, turns out. And she tells, you know, that she tells Mariner that the captain wants to see her mom, and like we've already gotten the idea here that Mariner is not really liking working with her mom now. Like at the end of the last season, they made this deal that they would work together rather than, you know, constantly be at each other's throats, and it's not working out that well. But Mariner keeps at it because, you know, her mom is happy to do it, and it ends on this great dramatic moment where she's doing squats as, you know, she's crashing this ship that her and her Cardassian torturer is on. And the Cardassian is like, why are you doing squats? Stop that, take this seriously. And she's like, I can't. It's leg day.
Why are you squatting? We're going to die! Stop that!
I can't. It's leg day.
I was a little bit disappointed that it's only a holodeck simulation. When we saw the shots from this opening sequence in the trailer, I was really hoping that it was going to be like an actual real set piece, because, you know, Cardassians, we haven't really seen Cardassians much in modern Trek. In fact, this is kind of the first real encounter with Cardassians in modern Trek. And it would have been nice to see them, you know, for real rather than just as holograms. But, you know, still, it was nice. So there's an A plot and a B plot. A plot is that Mariner it's not really working out the thing with her mom and them working together, and Ransom is getting annoyed at this as well because he gets deprioritized by the captain, and they just get in trouble. And they're going to this planet where like Mariner wants to clean up the buildings. She's like, oh, after the Industrial Revolution, like they never like took care of their buildings. So can I just like give them a sonic shower, and maybe that won't like encourage them to clean up stuff themselves? And she gets like that sort of off the book mission to do that. When they do that, they like activate some old space magic, or to quote the show, we got sci-fi stuff happening down here.
We got sci-fi stuff happening over here.
And Ransom gets infused with strange energies. That's the title drop of the episode.
Sir, I'm reading the build-up of strange energies. Mariner!
Looks like you took a full load of strange energy straight to the cortex.
What is strange energy, Doctor?
Electrical phenomena with unknown properties. It can have all sorts of physical effects, unlock parts of the brain, even endow godlike powers.
Humanity has a complicated relationship with organized religion.
Well, strange energies doesn't. Ever hear of Gary Mitchell?
Which is explained as what happened to Gary Mitchell in Where No Man Has Gone Before. So Ransom basically becomes a god. They ask the doctor, who is clearly well read on the Gary Mitchell case, like, oh, well, how did they handle Gary Mitchell?
Kirk smushed him with a boulder.
Gary Mitchell was an ant, and I am a lion!
Ransom, like, detaches his own head, grows it huge, and, like, goes off to, like, attack the ship, which also gives us a really great line of, like, his growing hands brace for grabbing from the bridge crew. And he tries to eat the ship. And eventually they stop him by Mariner attacking his neutral zone. That is kicking him in the nuts a bunch until he just succumbs to the pain. And then Dr. Diana drops a boulder on him, just for good measure. And that sort of clears up the episode, and like Mariner and Freeman is like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't work together all the time and only some of the time. And we actually ended on a really nice little note where like Stevens, who is another part of the away team and the bridge crew, this older white guy with a mustache, he was in season 1 as well, but I don't think we ever got his name then. Like he like idolizes Ransom, and they end on like Ransom in the med bay, or the sick bay, and Stevens is reading him like a bedtime story.
All right, big guy. Today I'll be reading you Nightingale Woman. Thanks, little buddy.
B plot is very different. It's Rutherford is gonna go on a date with Ensign Barnes, which was the plot of the first episode of season 1. And Tendi is like, no, that didn't go well. And he's like, no, we like this is our third date. We're a couple now. Like it's going great. And also he likes pears, and this is important because he used to hate pears. And Tendi is like, well, I think he has SMD, synthetic memory degradation, because that starts with changing your opinions, and eventually like your brain turns to mush and melts out of your nose or something. So Tendi like starts to basically torture Rutherford to try and shock him back into his old self. This is wonderful moment where like Rutherford tries to get out of the torture thing by saying he doesn't like pears anymore. So Tendi asks him the question, and I wrote this down because it's a long one. 3 sets of twins get lost at sea. Each set shares a parent, but no 2 sets are the same. What is the name of the boat?
The Salty Dog?
Yes!
Really?
No.
We actually do get to see some of his date with Barnes as well, and I actually had forgotten. I don't think I mentioned this in the first season review, that Barnes was a Trill, and Barnes also has a sister who's obviously Trill as well. And Rutherford's like memory hiccups and like being sort of a different person, she relates that to her sister having a symbiont. And then like this really awkward moment, which I think is supposed to be like really in your face with how like out of place it is, but it was still kind of strange. She basically tells Rutherford like, me and some other girls are going swimming. Do you want to come?
Me and a couple girls from Cetacean Ops are going swimming. Want to join?
Sure. This thing is waterproof. I can swim all night.
Great. I think your friend is gonna shoot you.
What now?
And he's like, yeah. And then Tandy like ends up chasing him away and tries to like get his brain out to poke at it. And eventually like she admits that no, he doesn't actually have SMD. She's just worried that him changing his opinions means that he's also not going to like her anymore. And he's like, no, of course I still like you.
No new implant is gonna stop me from being your friend.
Aw, thanks, Rutherford. It's nice to know no matter what, we still love science.
I love that line because it's once again poking fun at the fact that some fans got really, really upset that some of the science officers said, I love science in Star Trek Discovery because... And it ends on like a sweet enough note where Mariner asks Rutherford like, oh, so your brain's not gonna melt? And Rutherford's like, no, but we're Starfleet, so who knows what's gonna happen next week? Which I thought was a fun one. And also, fuck Paris.
Pairs.
Because apparently he's back to not liking Paris anymore. We end on cutting to the Titan where Boimler is having a bad time and the Titan's going through gluonic disruption. They're all like becoming like just mushes, and Jonathan Frakes has a few great lines there as well. So like it's a fun enough episode. Like my really main issue with was the whole Cardassian thing only being a holo sequence. I really wanted that to be a proper sequence. Maybe we'll get some Cardassians in a later episode or something, but it's similar to the Borg stuff in the first season, which was also just holodeck stuff. Like I realize they don't want to overuse the popular enemies from the Star Trek universe because you can very easily start to ruin them that way. But I'm not. I do think they rely a little bit too much on the holodeck at times like this, which is another flaw with Star Trek, is using the holodeck too much. So you know, there's that. The whole thing where like Ransom becoming a god and like doing all sorts of strange things with his rainbow magic was great. And that's really the stuff that you can tell, like, they couldn't do this in live action. Like, not only would it look wrong, it would just be incredibly expensive and not worth it. But because it's animated, it works. I like it. It's cute. I do like that Boimler is still on the Titan. I don't know how long he will be on the Titan. Maybe he remains on the Titan throughout the rest of the series. I don't know. We'll see. But I did like that they don't even like Boimler only has 2 cameos. One is a hologram, and one in the final shot of the scene of the episode, which I like. That's nice. Like they're sticking to the fact that he transferred to the Titan, and also showing Mariner like still being mad at him, but like slowly starting to accept that, he, like this is what he wanted. He wanted to get promoted. I should be happy for him, even if he was a jerk about how he transferred without even telling her goodbye or anything. But yeah, it's a nice episode. I like it. I like it much more than the first episode of season 1, which, as I mentioned in my review, I thought was the weakest episode of that season. I don't think it was good at all. This was a lot more fun. You can tell the writers are more comfortable with the characters and the storylines now, and I think it will yield better stories overall. I'm looking forward to seeing more of them, and also reviewing more of them, and hopefully I won't be a day late with the next one. They release on Wednesdays, and they actually release much Thursdays. They release on Thursdays, and actually much earlier than I thought, because I thought they would be like Thursday evenings, but I guess they, like, right on midnight to Thursday, they actually dropped the episode. I guess that's streaming services for you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more, and I think that's all I have to say. Live long and prosper.